joining us today, we have with us publisher of the BB magazine and also the CEO for Events by Ayesha. Ayesha Hakki is joining us all the way from Jersey here via Skype. Thank you so much for being with us on ITV Gold, Ayesha.
Hi, how are you?
Great, Ayesha. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you're doing well there in Jersey.
Yeah, we're doing good. Just, here with the family, just relaxing and trying to stay focused and positive.
Yes, and that is so important. But I'm glad that you are practicing social distancing. We keep on getting everyone here, especially doctors, to really recommend that. So glad to see you practicing this. Ayesha, it's so great to have you here with us on ITV Gold. I must begin asking, this interview, this wedding industry that you're really prominent in, and event management that you're also very prominent in. BB Magazine has been known here for South Asian brides and grooms. With what has happened in the last month, could you describe to me the direct impact of COVID-19 on your business and several businesses in the event management industry?
Well, I think, it's all about the fact that we're social distancing right now, so there's no such thing as events. So a lot of the weddings that were happening in March and April and May are now being postponed to future dates and probably late summer and fall. And, things have died down quite a bit. 4 of our events got canceled or technically postponed. And then now some of my summer weddings are getting pushed,
Right.
especially since, they've extended the social distancing guidelines to April 30th. So we're all kind of in a wait and see position. We're trying to be positive. We're trying to be proactive with our brides, working with them to make sure that they are comfortable and, we're holding their hands all the way through this lovely pandemic.
Just in terms of talking about, this specific topic, Ayesha, and thank you again for coming and addressing the needs and the concerns of the event management world right now. You must be getting several questions from brides and grooms right now who were preparing for their wedding in the next few months, maybe this month. In terms of the weddings or in terms of other events that had been planned and have to be canceled, what have you seen as a process so far? And I know insurance has become a huge issue in this world as well right now as we're talking about COVID-19 and its impact. Talk to us about what is happening in terms of these brides and grooms who were waiting on their events and also on the insurance, which is a huge part of this entire business. You told me earlier that they actually cannot rely on it for COVID-19.
Well, so okay, so before this all happened, I always tell my brides and my people who are having events to get event insurance. It really helps, especially if, we've had so many natural disasters in this country recently as well, that if there is a problem and one of your vendors, an important one, can't provide
Right.
the services, you can either get the deposit back or you can, help negotiate the contract so that way you're covered.
Right.
So a couple weeks ago, you were able to get insurance, that would cover COVID-19 because that would be considered force majeure or an act of God, and it would have been covered. Well, I tried to call for a wedding that I'm doing in the late summer, and I called the insurance company and said, "Hey, can you talk to me about COVID-19? What's going to be happening?" And they've since changed their policies, and they're calling it a known cause, which I believe that's an insurance term. And so now they're not covering anything that has to do with COVID-19, whether that's postponement or cancellation of the event.
Oh, wow.
So how are we working around that? Luckily, most people in the event industry, they know, we're all in this together. We're all working together. I mean, that's the beauty about being in America, is that we all do
Right.
come together when times are rough like this. So we're working with our vendors on a case-by-case basis. We're trying to work with our brides on a case-by-case basis. What we're doing is we're now moving forward with putting 2 dates into the contract.
Right.
So if we have a summer wedding planned, we're asking for an alternative hold on a date in the fall or in next year, depending on what the bride and groom want to do.
Right.
And so this way, it helps us plan with all the vendors, making sure that the whole group of people who are working on that one particular wedding will be available for the next, the alternative date. And if that doesn't work out, then we have time to be able to find other vendors or other venues that will be able to handle that particular wedding.
Wow.
So ultimately, we have to be flexible right now. We have to talk with the vendors and also make sure that you're looking at the contracts very carefully so
Yes.
that way you can sort of, not lose your money moving forward.
Aisha, for everyone that's watching you right now on ITV Gold, could you perhaps, I think this would be really interesting, break down the entire team that is required in an event planning business, and especially when it comes to weddings? You had just highlighted on the fact that you have to communicate with the vendors, the venue, and other parts of the entire system in order to perhaps even give an alternate date to somebody who's looking to get married or have another event. Could you break down how many people are currently impacted by this and who is in the chain? Because it is everybody, as we're talking about.
So it's a couple different things. So obviously, the number one thing that you have to look out for is your venue, because I look at it this way: when you're rescheduling a date, look at the factors that there is only one of. So, for example, your venue, there's probably only one of it. And
Right.
so, if you have your heart set on saying getting married at the plaza, whatever, you want to first talk to them and find an alternative date. Then look at set your vendors in a sense of who you want the most. So if you particularly want a particular caterer,
Right.
caterers can usually handle multiple events per day. So they're probably going to make adjustments and work with you. The problems arise, like say you want a particular like me, if you want a particular event planner, I've got to make sure that my schedule is available or that my number two will be able to handle the wedding in case I can't be there.
Right.
Also, the same with photographers. Usually, people hire that particular photographer for their talent. And if they're one person, they can't be in multiple places. So you've got to find out who their number two is going to be. So just like that, you go down the line from florist to decorator to calligrapher to DJ. Find what's the most important to you,
Right.
and then start adjusting your dates according to their availability. And be patient. Everybody's in this together. We're all working on this together. We're all trying to deliver the best possible experience for our clients,
Right.
but we're all trying to get through this. So yeah, it's going to be different. It's going to be a lot of fun when it's over, but right
Yeah.
now we have to sort of be a little
But Aisha, this must
thoughtful.
have taken such a huge impact on you as a wedding planner, as an event management company. If I was to ask you personally, how are you feeling, and when you communicate with your vendors, with the caterers, with the photographers, decorators, florists, there are so many people that work under you. How have you sort of taken all of this responsibility, and how is the communication with your team?
So, quite honestly, I'm really lucky. I've been working with some fantastic vendors, and everybody's being very accommodating. We're sort of like in a touch and go. Some of our events, like four of them for March and April, got postponed. And so we're just in touch with everyone and saying, hey, we want to, move forward when we can. Right now, just hold off. So until we sort of find an end to this pandemic and find some sort of a cure and this whole lockdown sort of stops,
Right.
right now it's just we all have to be very understanding and communicative with each other so that way we all kind of know what's happening and whatever. But the one thing I will say, even though we can't have like big, two, 300 person events or weddings,
Right.
what we are seeing a big rise in is online dinner parties through Zoom or Join Me or through Skype even. So a lot of people are, we're human beings. We need to be social. And so we're finding innovative ways to be able to connect people. And so that's what I mean about our resilience. Who knew that you could have like a dinner party online? It's actually kind
Yeah.
of fun.